Hey everyone, welcome. My name's Ryan and this is Developers Garage. So, if you're new to the stream, we are a technology stream that is focused on exploring new technologies. Not necessarily the Microsoft stack, but that's all the time that's where we stick. We hang around. We explore all different kinds of technologies. We want to look at web, desktop, mobile, uh, anything that seems interesting to us and to other viewers that you things that you might want to learn or know about in the technology space. We are live coding, so what that means is we actually do real code here on stream. You get to see it work. You get to see me try it out for the first time, possibly. You get to see the struggles that somebody who's been doing it for over a decade now. Oh, it seems like it's a long time, it seems. I know there's a lot of people who have been doing it a lot longer, but for me, a decade, actually technically 12 years now of doing this. It only feels like yesterday I started. So, but you get to see the struggles that I go through, how I solve my problems that I run into, how the steps I take whenever I'm debugging, troubleshooting, just struggling with a problem, to let you who's new to coding or someone who has been doing it forever know that you're not alone. We all do it, we all go through it, and we just have different ways of solving those problems. So um, that is where we're at. So let's see. I've got a cool few things I've been working on here lately. I've been trying to update my stream a little bit. I haven't paid as much attention as I would like to it. Had a few things happen over the past few weeks that have just taken my attention, and so I wanted to start improving the stream. The not necessarily the quality of the stream as well as the tools that are available in the stream. So that led me to go create a chatbot that interacts with Twitch and allows me to allows you, the viewer, the chatter, to run some basic commands and figure out what's going on. Do a couple little things. Let me automate some of my steps. If I want to give a shout out to a fellow dev, I have now a way to quickly do that. So let's see what I've got here. Let's switch on over to some code and make sure everything looks good here. All right, so as you can see over there, we have in the lower right hand, I think it's the right hand corner for everybody, that's kind of our agenda, kind of something to help keep me on track of what I want to do on this stream, because if I don't have it, you're going to see me kind of go a few places. Now, you may like those and you may say, hey, can we continue down that path? And I'll be like, sure, not a problem. And that's what we want to do. We want to just do it. We're here to just do things. We don't want to have a whole bunch of process that gets in the way of doing things. So, first thing I talked about a little bit more was GarageBot. So, what is GarageBot? GarageBot is my chatbot. It's something as a developer that I'm able to create. Twitch has exposed the chat in a IRC, Internet Relay Chat, which means I can engage with it, interact with it, get events from it, and I can push things into that pipe programmatically through code, through some intelligent code, and hopefully some logic. But we have a few commands we can do. So let's go ahead. Let's run a couple little commands here. So GarageBot has a way for you to see what commands are available. And all our commands begin with the bang or exclamation point. So if I do a bang list, you'll see in the chat, you'll pop up, you're going to see idea, list, project, SO, and test. So those are the commands. Now, I realize that's not very useful. As of right now, I can't do multi-line chats in here. I'm looking at a different way of maybe being able to push that in. I've seen a couple of things like when people give some subscriptions or do some other things that Twitch puts in there some multi-line chats, multi-line text. And so I need to do a little bit of research on how to do that. So to be clear, and a good practice for everybody, don't try to reinvent the wheel. There are a lot of people that are out there building chatbots. Build on the shoulders of giants. So these people have been doing it. They've played around with it. They've looked at it. Unless you really want to just dig deep and figure that the only way you're going to learn is if you get in there and learn everything you can about it. Me, I typically know just enough to be dangerous. That is the scary things from time to time. But what that allows me to do is I take their lessons learned. And as developers, if we want to be productive, that's what we have to do. We have to learn from our, I don't want to say elders, but those who have come before us, or those who are coming along with us, and learn from their mistakes. Learn from, I don't want to call it a mistake, because everything we do in development is it's an experiment. We're trying something. Most of the time, we're trying something new. We're doing common things a little bit differently, a little bit different ways. Hey, Jeff, how's it going? Glad you could join us. I'm going to try to be much better at watching that chat window there. And there's Sean. Lessons learned by pioneers. Thank you, Sean. Yes, pioneers. So they're not old people. They're not, well, I'm old. But I want you to be able to learn from me. Learn from those who, like Sean said, are pioneers who came before us. So I took some of the lessons learned from the developers when I created my chat bot, and what we have there is a great quick interaction. So I did this in probably, 4 to 5 hours, because I built on top of those pioneers. What they did, I took the meat and the guts of what they did, and I wrapped it in my own little flavor, for lack of a better term. I'm not old, because what would that make me? I don't know, Jeff. I'm not going to say ancient, but no, just kidding. No, those who are more senior, I don't like the term senior. It makes me feel old too. Someone more experienced. I like that. Less young, less junior. I mean, is that the new political way to do it? I'm less junior today. So GarageBot. So I have a list of commands there. So you can see this is for anybody in the chat. They can do this. So if you want to test it out, go ahead. You can hit the bang and any one of those. Now there's some of them that are just for me. Some of the things that are just for me. But if you go ahead and if we run the, let's come in here. Oh, see, Jeff did the bang list. So he got to see, what's available out there. So one of the things that, if you want to know a little bit more about a command, you can do the list, you can do the bang list, and then the command you want to know more about. So if I want to know more about the project command, a little bit more about what it's going to do, I do that, and it's going to tell you that it gets, and actually that's, see a little coding error there. So the get's not for the broadcaster, the get's for the viewer. The set is for the broadcaster. So it's going to set what I'm currently working on stream. And then we can do the SO's, the shout out command. So if I have a fellow streamer out there, I don't know, do I have anybody watching that is a fellow streamer that we want to shout out? Well, you know what? I'm going to shout out because I have a couple of guys that I follow that are pretty amazing at what they do. And if you haven't followed them, I suggest you follow them. Not now. Wait till after my stream. I don't want you to leave. But if I do that, it gives me a nice little way to shout out to those who are doing work just like I am. So there's that one. And then if we run the test is just a command that allows me to make sure that my bot is actually running. That's really all it is. We've done shout out, project, list. We've done the list. So idea. So one of the things I've been struggling with is trying to figure out how can we allow the viewers, those who are part of the chat room, have an idea and quickly be able to communicate that with me or with others. So one of those is you can just type it in the chat and hopefully I'll see it if I'm monitoring close enough and the chat isn't going quickly enough. The other aspect of it is, what if I capture that and write it out? So I did write a bot. So we have the idea. I know what you send. I know when you hit that command. I can take that and then I can write it out to a file that I can then go back after the stream and take those ideas. So if I do the idea command, only thing I can do is the bang idea, and then I just have to tell it what is your idea. And so we can say so it's not just an idea. So suggestions, feedback, or ideas for projects on the stream, anything you want to let me know, that's really what the idea is for. So maybe I need to rename it, but love chatbots. And so you're going to see it comes across. Now, I do need to add a little feedback to know that I did receive it, and thank you for sending that. But if I come here, go to here, it writes it out to just a plain old text file right now. Eventually, I want to hook this up to a service because I want to be able to run this in a Docker container. And then if I run it in a Docker container right now, I have to mount a file system. A lot of more trouble for me than what it's worth. But what I can do is I can go back and I can say, hey, Developers Garage said love chatbots. And so I can see this feedback. I don't have to worry about missing something because I wasn't paying close enough attention to the chat window, which I need to do anyways. But there are a couple, if you have an idea for something that you want to add into the chatbot, what you want it to be able to respond to. I know Jeff Fritz is doing some sentiment analysis using some Azure Cognitive Services to be able to look at the chat and basically give feedback on, what's the mood in the room, which is pretty cool. But anything like that, any idea is open. Don't be afraid. Put it out there. Idea, stop calling Jeff old. Yes, that is perfect. So let's look at that. Look at that. See, Jeff Johnson says, stop calling Jeff old. Jeff's not old. Jeff has a lot of experience that we can all learn from. And that's why we're here. All right. So one thing I want to do over here, I want to go ahead and mark that. We talked about the GarageBot, so now you know it. Stop editing. There we go. All right, let's check GarageBot off. The other thing, though, so you know what? I didn't actually do it yet. I need to set what our project is. We're not there yet. I can, though. I can set our project. So most people can, when they come in, they can just hit bang project. If you hit it now, it's like, hey, you're telling me, what are we working on today? So I haven't set that yet, but that's something I can set in here. Project. Let's say we're just getting the stream started. And so now we can say bang project. Hopefully I typed that right. Oh, yeah. So the other thing I have built in here is because we want to keep people from kind of spamming my bot and basically taking my system down. There is a cooldown time. I have this one, I think, set at like 10 seconds, so it should work now. So if you try to do commands back to back to back, and well, that's not working right now, is it? Well, let's come look here. Is it still in cooldown? Your message was not sent because it is identical to the previous one you sent 30 seconds ago. Well, so yeah, guess what? That's not me. That's actually Twitch trying to prevent me from spamming the same message over and over again. So now it's going to say, hey, now you got to wait 30 seconds. The one before, if I come in here, so if you didn't know, this is my bot actually running. So it's a .NET Core 3.0 app, basically a console application that is using the latest bits that I could find out there. .NET Core 3 Preview 3, which is kind of what we're using in our site. And it is running inside this window, basically running without being in debug mode. I have also the ability to run it in Docker. So that was an adventure in itself because Microsoft has changed their container registries. They're no longer using, they're using Docker Hub a little bit. They're using it as an information source, but Microsoft is using their own Microsoft container registries now. So I had to go do some updates to use the preview bits. So if you're looking at using some Docker, some new containers they've got them out there, but they're migrating them all over to the Microsoft Container Registry. So if you're looking at them for Docker Hub, they may continue to work for a little bit, but they will probably end up going away soon. So, all right. So it says I haven't received anything in 60 seconds. So now I should be able to do project. There we go. Just getting the stream started. So that's GarageBot in a nutshell. So the other thing I want to do, so the next thing on our list, keeping me on track here, is our Dallas Nuggets. So if you weren't here last time, I think it was last time or the time before, we have our good friend Steve Smith, goes by @ourdallas. You can see there. Follow him on Twitter. He actually has a stream on Twitch as well, so I can do I think it's our Dallas, but we can use our fun little bot here shout out to. Go check out Steve Smith. Follow his channel. He does some pretty cool things over there. He is a Microsoft MVP. He may not be streaming this week because he is one of the lucky few that is attending the Microsoft MVP Summit there in sunny Seattle, I think. I don't know if it's sunny today or not. But they got a lot of people who are streaming this week that are not because they're up there. He works with a lot of Microsoft. He's an independent consultant. Big on domain-driven development and clean architecture. So he has some awesome stuff out there on that. So follow him. Tell him you came from me. Or you got sent there from me. You didn't come from me. Not your mom. So I thought I had some... I was working on my stream. So like I said, I was working on my stream a little bit. I got some cool new things. Because when we get something new started, we're going to. That's right. We want to get ready to rumble. So hopefully everyone heard that. If you didn't, please let me know, because you probably didn't hear the fun thing that I just played. Because I realize I have to do something. Sound not directly ported. Yeah, thanks, Sean. I realize. So, again, I'm playing with the stream, trying to make it better. So I have to jump out here and I have to change the sound. So right now, the desktop sound's going through the speakers out here. My streaming setup is actually taking it from my headphones. So when I change it to here, we can now... That should be better now. We should be all back to normal. Hopefully. If not, I can fix that. Because It is
Wednesday, my dudes.
That's right. It is Wednesday. All right, that worked. Sean's letting me know that worked. All right. So I did get some cool things here. So, all right. So we talked about Steve. So let's come out here because Steve's actually going to play a little bit important role in what we do today. So. Our Dallas Clean Architecture. So you can always Google him. So Steve has a great starting point for everybody. I was hoping to find his. Yeah, as you can see, I was trying to clone a repository here. Not that I don't know how to clone a repository. FYI, I have to crank my volume to hear you as well. Oh, man. All right, let me check my mics. All right, that's turned all the way up. Let me see if I can turn my mic up here, if that turns it up. Nope. All right. Trying to figure this mic thing out. Sound level's fine with Sean. Okay. I don't want to blow anybody's ears out. I'm looking at my stream. It looks like it's at a pretty decent volume. Maybe I'm just too experienced. Yeah. Aren't we all, Jeff? Aren't we all? So, back to Steve. So I want to get here. this nice GitHub private repository, multiple account thing kind of gets my system a little confused. So there's a way, I think I said it before in the last stream, there's a way you can have multiple accounts for GitHub working in the same system. It does require a little bit more setup, more than what I want. Typically what I do, I just go delete my credentials out of Credential Manager, and then Git will actually prompt me for them again, and I can sign in with the correct account. So, but that's why that's a little wonky, because I went to for my personal repo, and on here on this stream we use the Dev's Garage repo, account. So, our Dallas weekly tips. So, when Steve was here last time, we talked about his weekly tips. So here it is, weeklydevtips.com. Forgot speakers have a volume knob. Oops. So, funny story, Jeff, on that one. When I was getting started in my career, I worked in a cubicle farm, small shop, cubicle farm still. But I had speakers connected to my computer, and I had headphones that I would wear, that I'd plug into my speakers. Except for the one day when I came back from lunch, and you know what, I was in a mood, I wanted to get something going, put on a little Linkin Park at the time. And so I just wanted to just get something cranking going on. Well, you know, I just came back from lunch, and I didn't realize my headphones were unplugged. So I put them on, started my music coming through my speakers. Now, I could hear them a little bit in my headset. I was like, okay, the volume's turned down. So I reached down and I start turning up the volume knob. It gets a little bit louder, but it wasn't proportionate. I get a tap on the shoulder. Evidently, I was blaring Linkin Park throughout the entire office because I had my headphones unplugged and it was coming out through my speakers. So, dev tip. Always make sure your speakers are plugged in and your music is going through the right audio source. Yeah, that needs a little Nelson. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. All right. So, Steve Smith's Weekly Dev Tips. He has some great stuff on here. He has a little podcast he does for Dev Tips. But you can sign up somewhere on here to basically get them in your email. So you can follow him on Twitter, which I suggest. This looks to be his actual podcast piece. Wait, if you find these useful, you may also want to get the free software development tip delivered to your inbox every weekday from rdallas.com/tips. There we go. If I would just read, we'd get this stuff figured out. Maybe it wouldn't take so long for me to do things. Isn't that typically a guy thing, though? We never read the instructions. So the other beautiful thing is, it is spring break here in Tulsa. So you know what that means? That means that kids are home. So we're going to see what happens with the stream. So I've got two little rugrats running around here right outside my office because I work right outside the playroom. So we'll see. If you hear anything that's crashing or somebody screaming and yelling, that's probably my daughter. Hopefully not my son. Because my son's probably done something. So it's going to be an interesting stream. So back to this. Go to rdallas.com/tips. Put in your email address every week. He will send you an email giving you a great piece of information. So let me pull up his. This week's is improving method clarity. So again, he always seems to know something that's going to hit close to home for me. I think he is truly stalking me. Not my words, his, because he was here last time and said that. But what it's talking about is basically it's keeping your code small, keeping your method names clear, not just saying do X and then have a 2,000 line long method that somewhere in there talks about what you're actually doing. It goes more into keep your method small, follow the single responsibility principle. Your method should do one thing and one thing only, and it should do it well. That should make it easy for you to name that method what it is it's actually to do. What frustrates me more than anything when I'm going through somebody else's code is if I have to figure out what this method does, because I can't infer that from the method name. So just a little dev tip. That's from Steve, not from me, but I definitely endorse it 100%. Again, if you want to get these every week, go sign up here. And we've done our highlight of Steve. It's a little Steve nuggets. I think I'm going to do that every week because every Wednesday I get a new email from him. Usually Wednesdays. Usually when he's gone, sometimes they come in later in the week, but he's pretty good about getting them done every week, every morning when I wake up on Wednesdays. So we've taken care of our Dallas Nuggets. Now, like I said, his work is going to play a role in what we're doing today, and that's the clean architecture. So in the Discord channel, we were talking about Jeff specifically, and Sean had some great ideas about, when we were talking about our site. So what does that mean? That means, well, that doesn't mean anything because I haven't told you what they said yet. Jumping ahead of myself, so my brain, trying to multitask sometimes when you're streaming, it gets a little wonky. So, talked about basically loading information. Where are we going to store data in our stream, in our new site? Hopefully it's pretty clear. We're trying to make it work. We're going to make it right, and then we're going to make it fast. For the long run, we definitely want to store this data in an easily, is that a word? Yeah, it is now. Easily consumable format, and a storage location where we can easily get access to it. The initial, to make it work, we're going to use just a JSON file stored in our website. The great idea was that we're still going to use an API to retrieve it, which is, I think, something, Jeff, I believe you're working on. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's something you said you were going to look at doing. So he's going to start that, but we're going to look at it a little bit today because I want to explore it. I want to see what it is. I want to see how we can consume that in Blazor. If there's an easy way, do we have to make an API call, or can we just easily consume this from our backend using, I may have said Blazor, Razer Components, which is Blazor, I think. It's kind of a gray area right now in the preview stage. So, we talked about clean architecture. So Steve has 3 projects, base projects in here. He has a core, which is going to be basically all your models. He's got his entities set up in here. They're just base entities. They don't really have any, they're POCOs, plain old, I say CLR objects. Could be plain old C objects. I've heard a couple different ways for POCOs, but they're just plain objects. They don't really have any code inside them other than just properties. They don't actually have any functions other than just being a place to hold some information. He also defines his events in here. So this is basically one place where we can set up all of our common objects that can be referenced and used throughout our solution. What that means is that this project cannot really reference anything else other than some basic .NET libraries, because we don't want to get into circular dependencies. And Visual Studio will recognize that, the compiler will recognize that, and won't let you do it. But I love this concept. This is something that in all of my projects I do, unless it's something for like a workshop or something, that makes it cleanly separate things, because I hate having all these weird references around. We have a couple other things here. He has a service defined here. And this is basically core functionality that you want. It's only instantiated once, has limited references, and it's going to be used all over. And if you're watching and I'm wrong on that, please correct me. I want to make sure everybody understands that. Oh, hey, you know what? I forgot to do. We're moving on. We're talking about clean architecture here. So, Ryan, you need to update that project. We need to make sure that if you're new to the stream, I just put in a chat bot called GarageBot. Some basic commands you can do. You'll see here the project command, which will tell you what we're working on. We're no longer just getting started streaming. We've been streaming for, wow, has it been 30 minutes already? Yeah, probably so. So we're actually looking at clean architecture. And so now, if you wanted, you can just hit that bang project command, and you're going to be able to see what we're working on. Also, if you do the bang list, if you ever want to know if I've added anything or what you can do, just the bang, which is the exclamation point list, you can see all the different commands. So if you want to know, you don't have to ask. You can just run these and you can quickly find out. If you're new to the chat, hey, thanks for joining me. I forgot to welcome everybody as they come. So, hey, Ancient Coder. Ancient Coder is someone who I've seen throughout a couple different streams that I follow. Thanks for joining, and thanks for saying hi. We're glad you're here. Hopefully you can learn some stuff. He is also an excellent streamer. And there's Lorena. Hey, Lorena. Glad you could join us again. So I'm going to do a shout out here. And I think, let's see, does this work? Yes. So, Ancient Coder, I believe you do stream. Please, if I'm wrong on that, my apologies. But I've seen him in Jeff's channel. I think I've also seen him in Rambling Geek, some other streamers that I follow who are also live coders. Thanks for joining. Like I said, we're getting ready to get started. We're going over clean architecture right now. So one thing I want to say, I am one follower away from 50. I am getting close to where I can get my affiliate status. So we just need that one more, hit that 50 followers, as well as I need to get, I need to stream a little bit more often so I can get in there. But, Ancient Coder doesn't stream, but he's very active in the streaming community. Every time I go into a stream, I see you pop in everywhere. And Ancient Coder, we appreciate that. The community members, you're what makes it possible for us to stream and what keeps us streaming. So don't just go in and watch the stream. Interact with everybody. It's a good way to learn. It's a good way to let us know if we're doing things right. So if you're new to streaming, just make sure, just come in and say hi. We're a friendly community, and we want to help all. So getting back to what we're doing, because I want to keep on track here. So we're talking about clean architecture, Mr. Steve Smith. So then he has his infrastructure. So basically this is where all his data, his repositories live in the framework. And domain events. So I'm going to be pretty transparent here. I am not up on domain-driven development. Again, I know a little bit about a lot. Domain-driven development, and from what I've gathered, is basically you take your applications and you focus it on your development into domains. So if we have thinking about going across a corporation and enterprise, yes, Ancient Coder Steve is a legend, and I got to meet him last year at KCDC. So hopefully I'm going to get to go to an event and get to see him again. He'll probably now know who I am, hopefully. But it's kind of one of those star things, I should have taken a picture. Anyways, domain-driven development. So if we think about, we go into HR, marketing, each one of those is a domain. And so you can have different domains within a company or within an organization. And so you focus your development around that. And so each one gets its own lane and typically gets its own repository. Hey, the Mike Jolly, thank you for joining us. Ancient Coder is basically the co-host of every live coding dev stream on Twitch. I agree, Mike. That's kind of something I noticed. And we appreciate that a lot. And also, I'm going to do a shout out here. So the Mike Jolly, I would say he's also a co-host because he seems to be going everywhere I go. And he is a great supporter of the stream. He's doing a lot with everybody. And I've actually I think I got a chance to catch one of your streams, or I didn't get to catch it live. I caught it, your Sunday stream, I caught it basically on demand. But, so here's a shout out to the Mike Jolly. And hopefully I'm typing those right. I've got a little bit of improvement I need to do on my chat bot to make sure I don't screw those up. Sunday was long. I didn't get to finish the stream, but sometimes those are the fun ones. They may be long, but time seems to fly. So in our infrastructure, that's really what this piece is. The infrastructure is what the external pieces we're interacting with. So think of the database, or if there's actually another API you're interacting with, that could also go in here. So that is our infrastructure. And then we have our web. This is the main interaction point. This is where we set up all our controllers. This is where we set up our basic API models. So Steve actually has his own set of models that is a data transfer object. So the data we get from the website, we then transform it into something that our other pieces can consume. So we want to make sure we don't pass the trash or any trash that comes from the website along throughout our application. We want to keep our interactions clean. Hence the title, Clean Architecture. I'm sure it has to do with something else, but this is basically how we start interacting with the application. So I love this idea. This is a concept that all the projects I lead, we break things out about like this from the beginning. So that's kind of what we want to do in our website applications. So we're going to be, let me check that off now. So back on task here. We just had our clean architecture discussion. So now we're going to get to the main guts, 40 minutes in, we're finally getting to what probably a lot of people are here for. So let's get this going. Let's get our project updated. So I'll maybe find a different way to get this project update going. Or maybe just do one with the meat of it is what we're going to be discussing today. But our project for the day is we're revamping our .NET user group website. And so, well, there's my dog. Somebody's not doing something she likes. So, we're revamping our .NET user group website. So, if we go to www.tulsadevelopers.net, this is the original site. This is what we're not taking any of this except for the information contained within it. And we're going to take this and we're going to move it over to a new, better, less experienced website. Did you like that, Jeff? That was just for you. Less experienced website. But we also want to make this a learning experience. So we have several members of our user group who are with us today. Lorena, Jeff, better fixationizing. Okay, Sean's creating words here. And then our fearless leader, Sean W122, he is our user group president and leader. It was his idea to do all this, and it may have been his mistake to put me in charge. But we won't find out till later. No, I appreciate the opportunity, Sean. So, but what we're doing, we got some user group members who want to help with that. They're new. Some of them are new to development. Some of them are a little bit more experienced. But we want to help grow. So that's part of the user group, is to help everybody grow. So we want their contributions with this. I don't have a lot of time to do everything myself. I want to do things on stream because I want to help people learn. So let's get things going on here. We do have a project out there. That's an idea. So one of the things I added, if you're just new to our stream, I have this idea. command that we can run that allows us to, for you to come up with ideas, share them with me, or give me feedback or anything like that. It's just bang idea or exclamation point idea, and then what you want to tell me. So I need one for I need a GitHub command to tell you what repository we work out of. So you can just click it without having to try and type from what I've got on the screen. So idea, add GitHub repo command. And so what that does, it actually writes it out to a text file for me that I can then go review later on after the stream is over without having to try and hopefully I didn't miss things from the stream. So that just writes it to a text file. Got some improvements to do around that, but that is where we're at right now. So the repo we work off of is Dev's Garage because this is Developer's Garage. And we are working on the TulsaDnug.net user group website. So we are using ASP.NET Core 3 Preview 3. Here's a blog post on that. Although I don't know if Preview 4 is out yet, or maybe that's just .NET Core Preview 4 or Visual Studio Preview 4. I don't know. I get lost sometimes. But we are using Preview 3. I do know that for a fact. And here's how you can get started with it. This is the website. So we have some issues here. Where do we go? Oh, look at this. Some people got some branches here. Yep, there's me developing some branches. Onyx Prime, that is my personal repo. So Onyx Prime is my personal site, but we have the issues here. So these are the issues we created, kind of the things that we want to do, we want to accomplish with this website. Different actions that people can take and work on their own. That's not what I wanted to click. So earlier in our Discord, Jeff and Sean had a great conversation going on around how we store this data. And we're going to initially store it in a JSON file with plans to move to a repository of some kind, whether that be a document database, NoSQL database, or a SQL database out there, yet to be determined. Some of it depends on probably the budget of the user group, which is little right now, which is why we're doing the work. So one thing I didn't do, Jeff, if you're out there, can you add that JSON file that you created? I did not get it from the Discord. If you're still paying attention, Jeff. If you're not, I'll get it somehow. We'll do something here. All right. You can either paste it in, add it to the repo, and I can pull it from the repo, or we'll just start off with some generic JSON file. Just going to take care of it. Thank you, sir. And then once you get that out there, let me know, and I'll go refresh, and I'll pull it down real quick. So here we have our basic site. This is an ASP.NET Core using Razer Components. So to be clear, we're not doing MVC, and we're not doing Razer pages. So this is the next evolution of Razer pages called Razer Components, which the idea behind that is to be able to have components exist outside of your website. So you can create libraries containing all these components. Think of tool vendors. And of course, they all escape me right now. But Telerik, I don't know how you say it. All those tool vendors out there, they can now create components that can be easily nougatized. Nougatized, is that a word? It is now. Can easily be nougatized, and we can now download and then consume those from our Nougat packages. So let's see what we got here. All right. So, yep, again, basic page. Let's run this, see what it looks like. Just so everybody knows kind of where we're beginning. This is kind of what's still out there. Again, if you want to help, we want to make things better. I have a buddy who was going to try and join us today, who is more on the graphics design. He works for, he's actually know if he's like IT or video producer for my church, First Baptist Church of Broken Arrow. He also has on the side, he does some great websites. A lot of it's in WordPress, but he has a graphics background, and he comes with some compelling ideas. So I asked him, I was like, hey, laying this thing out and getting things, to make it where it looks like it wasn't designed by a developer, but by somebody who kind of knows what good things look like, which, be honest here, developers, most of us don't know what good things look like. When we think of something good looking, we think of Visual Studio. I think that looks awesome. That looks great. My wife looks at that and like, what is that? So we want something that when people go to it, they're like, wow, that's an awesome site. And they're saying, well, I want to go visit these guys because they look like they know what they're doing, because we do. We're developers. We just don't design well sometimes. All right. Did this ever pull up? Let's try this again here. There we go. Maybe I closed it. All right, so we've got this basic template. So when you create a new Razer Components site in .NET Core, this is what the template you get pretty much. There are a couple things we've changed. This up here, normally you have a logo here. We've actually created our own component here, which is what this thing is. Which this logo was developed by one of our user group members, Jacques, which I don't know if he's here today. If you are, Jacques, say hello. And we thank him for what he did, because, again, this is a community. Just like streaming is a community and we need those members out there helping, a user group is a community as well. And it's only going to be as good as its members. So no matter how good your leadership is, if you don't have the community that backs it, then it's not going to be the best it can be. So this is where we at. This is where we start. So we do have some things here. So this right here actually fetches data. So this can give us like a little basis for what we're going to do. So one of the things that I did learn, that with maybe those of you who have used Razer Pages in the past know, that if you want to be able to access an asset or something within your website, it needs to go in this www root. Again, something I learned last time. I'm used to being able to mark it as content or something and it just be included. Or maybe Visual Studio was doing a lot of this for me behind the scenes, which is probably true. And I just took it for granted. So if we look at some of that component that we were just talking about, the fetch data. So the other thing to notice is, if you're new to Razer Pages, is this .Razer syntax, and that's how you know that it's a Razer component. Razer Pages and everything previously have used the .cshtml. So that's typically, I think you can still use it, I don't know. But it's something that we can, that they're moving to, allows us to basically separate the components from our CSHTML pages. And that is new to Preview 3. If you're using Preview 2, it's actually two separate projects with CSHTML pages. Preview 3 actually implemented the .Razer extension. And so we have here data. This actually goes to a forecast service. So it's actually using a service here that basically just returns all the static data. So what we're going to do, what we want to do is, I'm going to open up this. And that was a foobar on my part. Never fails. But, all right. Let's, not doing GarageBot anymore. We are doing You know what? I forgot what I came out here to do. Do you ever hate that? You start doing something and then it's like, boom, I forgot. All right, I don't know why I was going out there. So, issues pushing to GitHub. That's okay, Jeff. You know what? We're going to make this work anyways. We'll just put a generic JSON file out there, and then when I push this update out there, you can grab it and then you can replace the JSON file that I put out there. Does that sound good? All right. Now I remember what I was going to do. Again, okay, so that's our bot. I think this lives in the C drive. I'm winning at typing today. Okay, we are working on the Tulsa DNUG website. So what I was going to do is actually going to create a new branch. Or a new local branch so I can push changes up. So let me see what I've got going on here. I don't think I have much changed, much that I don't want to. I'm going to probably dump all these changes. Or I guess I could do a stash. So I just want to name. Do I have to do a save or can I just do a get stash and give it a name? Anybody know? I don't use this command too often. Get stash. Let's try this. I know if Mr. White Cell was paying attention, he would be all over me about, okay, just do this, this, and this. Permission to devs garage get denied? What? Check that out here in a second. Yeah, that wasn't right. If I do save, let me get this, Jeff, and we'll go take a look at that. Save working directory and index on master logo changes. All right, so what is it? What are these untracked files? That's probably what this is. Yes. Yeah. That's fine. Let me do. All right, let's go take a look at Jeff's issue real quick. So let me see if I have some permissions set up here. And because I don't know what this is going to display when I do this, we're going to go to the big guy screen. We're going to go back to the garage for a second while I look at some of these settings. I don't want to expose anything I shouldn't expose, but this repo should be open to everybody to comment on with the issues. Let's take a look here. So my repositories, my settings, repositories. I'm in the wrong account. That would be something I need to do. Devs garage. I can pull, just can't push. So you should be able. So you can't push. You can create a PR though. Is what you should be able to do. So what you do is you use your own GitHub account and push your changes up there, and then from there you would create a PR into our branch. Maybe that's where the issue is. I still need to get logged back into this. So, there. Enter your password, Ryan. Enter your password. All right. Got it. We'll have to move some code around, but have to drop for now. We'll try to check replay later. Hey, Jeff, thanks for joining. Glad you could, glad we're getting things moving along. So I'm gonna update the issue that one issue that you're gonna be working on it, if that's okay with you. So we will see you next time. If you got questions, hit me up on the Discord channel, and we'll talk more about it. Let's see. I want to check and make sure I've got these settings though correct. That you can take issues and you can also comment on them. I want to make sure that everybody can comment on these issues we have defined in here. Get organized with issue templates. Yeah. Interaction limits. Let's see about that. Limit to existing users, prior contributors. No. I want everybody to be able to interact with this thing. Everything, I think, looks good. You'll only be able to find a GitHub user by their email address if they puzzle. Well, let's. So I want to put our fearless leader in here as a collaborator. So Mr. Whitesell, if you're paying attention, you are a collaborator. Let's come back to that. Back to our coding screen. Jockreys, welcome. Thanks for joining. Glad you can make it. Just because I want to get some sounds going on here, you know? I want to welcome Jockreys here. All right. Hey. I got a whole bunch more sounds. You know, Jockreys, I think we talked about last time, we needed a sad trombone. And I now have one. So when I screw up, I can now, I don't have to make the sounds myself. All right. So, Mr. Whitesell, you are now a collaborator. I don't know what permissions that gives you, but we'll figure that out. So, how to be a sponsor. Jeff, I don't have your GitHub account. Let me see if I can. Jeff Johnson. Jeff, comment on here if this is with your GitHub information, and we'll make sure we get this assigned to you. We'll be working on this feature. All right, let me check something real quick. I have a meeting, I think. I need to watch my time here. Work can be demanding sometimes. We all know how that is. Yep, I have a meeting at 2. We got some time still. That's all good. So normally I'd want to try and extend streams more and stream on some more days. Unfortunately, this week I've got a little thing going. My daughter's going in for surgery tomorrow. As a parent, having your kid going for surgery is kind of a scary thing. It's outpatient surgery, so that's the good thing. But she's only 3, so it's still kind of a little nerve-wracking. So I'm going to be taking the next couple days off. We have surgery tomorrow, and then we have recovery, and so I will probably not be doing any more streaming this week. Thinking I may try to pick it up next week on Tuesday, but if you just to let you know, I'm not going to be streaming anymore this week. I'm probably not going to be around too much this week, but All right. So Jeff's working on that. We want to set up a little bit, though, in our project here. Jockeys, we were talking a little bit about clean architecture from Mr. Steve Smith, where we're going to basically separate things out, use some solid principles to get things going. Good luck prayers, a smooth surgery recovery. Thank you, Mike. They are much appreciated, I'll tell you. The community, the friends, family, it's really what keeps us sane. And so thank you for that. So let's get back to our code here. Services. So we had this weather forecast service, but we want to actually, I'm going to create a new project in here. And we're just going to do an ASP.NET Core library. I wonder if I can do just going to do a .NET Core. I want a .NET Core library because that's really that's all we need this to be. It's going to be some straight C# functionality to get our information. This first one though is going to be devoted to our core. So we're going to call this. Naming things is the hardest thing, and the projects are some of the hardest things to rename. So thank you, Lorena, for the family first, praying for your daughter and surgery. Thank you very much. You're right, family does come first. Always try to keep a good work-life balance. Don't let work consume you. Remember that your family is going to come before that. We work to play. Let's see, what is it? We work to live, not live to work. So if I didn't work, I'd have a lot more time with my family, but then we wouldn't be able to do things. We wouldn't be able to live. So, all right, we want to call this what is it? We're just going to go with Tulsa Denug Core. This TED Talk brought to you by Developers Garage. That is right. Website .core. Yep, I think that's good. And if we need to rename it later, we can always do that. So one of the things we want to talk about, we're talking about our sponsorship information here. And I'm going to do a little bit here, but I want Jeff to come in and take over a little bit more on this. So I'm just going to create a rudimentary class here. And you know what? I'm not even going to do sponsors. We're going to do something. What other issues do we have out here? Contact us. Do you want to do contact us? Announcements. Meeting info. We're going to do some meeting info here. All right. Because for some reason my mind seems to be gravitating towards that one. So, oh, come on, Visual Studio. Normally it would say, hey, do you want to rename this class? But it doesn't. I don't know if this is an RC thing. So I did update this to the latest RC. We'll find out if that was a mistake or not. Meeting info. So for all you new developers out there, snippets are your best friend. There are a few key ones that I use. Prop is a one that I use to quickly create a new property. It's great for when you're creating these POCOs out there. And let's see. It makes all this boilerplate stuff that creating POCOs has involved with it. So it makes it much easier. Public string property. Public string my property. We're going to call this description. Another one here. We're going to call this one title. And my apologies for you all having to live with my bad typing. This mic seems to get in my way. I'm one of those people that I have to have some kind of peripheral vision on the keyboard in order to type productively. And the mic gets in the way a little bit. So you may see me looking down trying to get my hands centered back on the home row here and there. So for our meeting info, we want to know the title, the description of it. We want the date and time that this one will be kicking off. We'll call this, I don't want to use date and time. We want to use date and time? Yeah, let's use date and time. So, not create a date, it's the, I'm going to call it meeting date. Can always change it later. What else do we need? Do we need anything else? You know what? That's a good start. All right. We talked about the core and clean architecture. The core is going to be those pieces that have no external dependencies on any other projects or anything. And we want to keep this pretty lightweight. So I think that's good. I'm going to add a new project again. We're going to make this one our infrastructure project. Use class library here. Still trying to get used to these new project dialogues in 2019. I do like them. I like them much better than the old. The search functionality is something you need to know how to make a class from a JSON template. Well, Sean, you know what? I know there is a website out there that allows you to do that. And must-see keys, Jacques. Yes, yep, I'm with you on that one. So, Sean, I know there's a website out there that you can paste in a JSON object, and it will give you, it's in VS. Oh, it is it? All right. So now, yeah, Sean's going to have me try something here. I'm actually going to, let me get this new project created, and then we will go try that. We'll go look at that. Is it an extension, Sean, or is it something that comes baked into Visual Studio? Denug dot infrastructure. It looks like I spelled that right. You copy JSON into the clipboard. Go to Edit, Paste Special, JSON as classes. We're going to give that a shot here in a second. I'm just going to delete this. So, it's confusing me a little bit by doing that. I want to do something. So I got burned when I was working on my GarageBot. I didn't have it in a Git repo, and so I kept deleting files that I didn't mean to delete. And it caused me a lot of productivity to have to go and remember how these function and recreate them. So git commit, git add, git commit often. Used to be save often, now it's git commit often. Git status, let's see what we got here. There's that. The logo.razer, I think that's good thing to add. Git add dot. Let's look at the status one more time, because notice our numbers are just a little bit different here. Yeah, I'm okay with that, and that. All right, everything looks good there. Git commit -m. Sean's providing us with some sample JSON. All right. Git commit, add new create new projects based on clean architecture by @R Dallas. All right. Oh no, Ryan, what did you just do? The problem with being the owner. I just committed it to master. I didn't want to do that. I should have branched. Oh man. now I'm... Yeah, that one. There we go. All right. Yeah, we'll fix it in a minute. All right. The funs of live streaming. So let's see what we're doing else here. Did that and that. Oh, we want to go. Sean gave us a sample here. Let me copy this link to the clipboard. Let's come out here. Sample JSON. Here we go. So according to Sean, copy it to the clipboard. Control C. Come back here. And so Sean said, go to edit. Let's see what we do here. So do I have to create? I bet I have to create the project first. Paste JSON as classes. Let's see what that does. Yeah, it did what I thought it'd do. Undo last commit, get checkout, hash of commit before wrong commit. All right, so Sean, how do I see those commits again? Git history. How do I look at the Git history? Bet you didn't think we'd be learning a lot about Git today. Git log. There we go. There it is. Okay, so I want the hash, which is this right here. Correct, Sean? So I can do git checkout. That. Okay. Undo last commit. All right. So I did that, so I have that now. Now what do I do? Nothing to commit. Head is detached. So we know this is our commit we're on. I got to learn more about how to do things again. I do usually do everything in Visual Studio, but made a commitment. We're going to use command line for all this Git stuff. That way I can do it across any IDE. I don't have to be IDE specific. Try git revert commit hash. So do I need to go back to master? Git revert. Is this the hash of the commit I want to revert, isn't it? Let's see. I want to revert this one. I don't make these mistakes. I need to get one of those. Yeah. Let's see. I want this hash. I want to try and revert this hash. So do you have to type out the full hash, or you just have to type out some of it to make it clear what you're wanting to do? All right, so this reverse blah. Please enter the commit message for your changes. Line starting with a hash will be ignored. Branch. So it wants me to type a message in here. I think that's fine. Revert. This reverts that. Commit. Commit made in wrong branch. So now once this is done, how do I commit it? Because I'm not used to this editor here. All right. You know, if you work on this in Git, if you're part of the Git project, this kind of stuff for new people is the daunting task. Because now I'm in here, I did my revert, and now I'm like, okay, what do I do here? There's nothing in here that tells me if you're done, press this command. Things that drive me nuts, especially when I'm trying to learn things. I guess you made bad commit. You reverted commit by making new commit. Yeah, you're in Vim I. Oh. How to exit Vim. There it is. Thank you, Sean. All right. I used Vim about 3 times in college and hated it every step of the way. WQ bang. QW bang. Not an editor command, Sean. Colon. WQ bang. That was WQ bang, Sean. Well, hopefully that was right. Let me look at my Git status. I'm on the master branch. Right. Quit now. WQ bang. Okay. All right, let's go back. Let's try that one more time. Get revert. I tried to get reverted, didn't. Frustrating. Let's come over here. Let's reload from here. Let's see what do we got here. Reload solution. Okay, here we go. So why does Git tell me I have 2 changes to commit? Haha, Git source tree. Yeah, no. Actually, it'd probably be good if I got source tree. Again, I want to learn how to do it from the command line. Source tree is masking all this fun stuff behind the scenes. We don't want that. Git pull. Why does it tell me I have 2 changes to push? Git log. So commit made it wrong. So basically, it's wanting to push the 2 commits I did. The wrong commit and the fixed commit, right? Is that the way I'm reading that? Probably so. All right. That's okay. You know what? We're going to go back here. I want to look at something here because that's what I thought. The files are still there. They're just not part of the tracked branch, I don't think. And they're not part of the solution anymore, but we can fix that. So we don't have to remake those. There may be a way to just ignore them. All right. Let me clean that up a little bit here. You made 2 commits. It now has 2 to push. Yeah. Only thing I can think of is I have to reset my head back to 2 commits ago, and that would kind of bring it to where it needs. And I don't know if those other 2 commits just go to the ether or not. All right. What was I doing? Oh, yes. Git -b. Add meeting info. Or actually, this is going to be add clean architecture projects. And that's, there we go. All right. Yep, Sean wants. We're going to save that for just a second. Git reset dash hard head dash 2. I think that's a dash. Is that a dash or is that a tilde? That may be a tilde. Tilde. Thank you, sir. There we go. Whew. All right. Put this back in here. Add clean architecture projects. That's not right, Ryan. Git branch. Git branch, and I just create the name, right? Git checkout. Thank you, sir. All these things I do pretty regularly that I forget the moment I get in front of a camera. This is one of the things that's fairly frequent in my current job, with creating branches. There we go. All right. Better. All right. Let's come in here. Add to our solution some existing projects that we already have out there. I think this one isn't on my C drive. Yep. Oh, kept the folders, but it did not keep the project stuff. See you, Sean. Thanks for joining. Glad you could check us out. Again, our fearless leader, Sean Whitesell, who has graciously allowed us to try and recreate the user group's website. I'm going to better switching sounds here.
Oh, yeah.
There you go, Sean. Oh, yeah. All right. Okay, so I've got to, I want to go clean that up real quick. So these are actually just empty sites. I'm going to use the same names, but I'm going to clean them up. All right. So add new project, class library. Since I already know what we're doing, this is actually going to go a little bit quicker. Dash website dot core. Okay, get rid of this class. And this is actually, unfortunately, this is probably going to take me to the end of the stream here because I have a meeting to get ready for. And it's going to take me a few to get ready for that meeting. So we'll get this in, we'll get this checked in, we'll get a PR created and merged in, and then we will let Mr. Jeff take over with his PR. So core infrastructure. Get rid of that. Let's build, make sure everything still builds, still runs. All right. Wrong window, Ryan. Get status, there we go. Get add dot. Get commit dash m. I think there's a shortcut where you can add and commit at the same time. I like to do them personally in 2 separate steps. That's just my idiosyncrasy. So add core and infrastructure. That looks wrong, but it is right. Projects based on clean architecture. I'm going to do a git push. It's going to say I need to set the upstream origin. Add clean. What that's doing, that's actually creating it out in GitHub for me. It's creating the branch out there. So now you can see that's what this dot here means. That's actually comparing against the remote repository as well now. So now I should be able to come over here to Developer's Garage. If I go to code over here. So here you can actually see it's smart. It knows, hey, you created this branch. We want to do a compare and pull request. Based on the clean architecture. Example by at or Dallas, so it's not going to give me that, but we know who he is. Put in here quotes Steve Smith. By at Steve Smith. We added the core project to contain common files used throughout the application and the infrastructure project to contain communication with external services. With external services. I could probably say other services, but I think that makes sense. So we're going to create this PR. So that basically creates that PR. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to merge this in. Going to confirm that merge. All right, there we go. So that's now been merged in. So if I come back to our Tulsa Dnug website on the branch master, don't have any other branches. We can see we have these new projects. So Jeff, if you're watching on demand later, you can see these are out here. You can create your model, your object, your JSON file. Then you can start creating the service that actually go out and get that sponsor information and bring it back in. We'll continue to do this. We'll do this with everything that uses kind of data we want to be able to update. We want to create a model for it. We want to create a service to go fetch it, or reuse an existing service to go fetch this data, bring it back, and then have our site pages or controllers or components call into those services to get that information and to use it on the site or the component itself. So that's where we're going to leave off today. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. I think I've got one more hurdle till I get to that affiliate status. So if you've got any friends that want to learn about live coding, send them my way. Tell them to hit the follow button. If you're new to this site, hit the follow button. I think it's up over there. Give me a follow and we'll get that affiliate status, and then you'll also be notified whenever I come online, I stream online, and what I'm working on, as well as I can hopefully get some fun emotes to go along with it. So Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you next time.